Hello, and welcome back to Babylon's Fall. We are now in season two. I did create a new character. I did a video on all the new stuff in season two in a different video. Tried out the pistols and stuff. So if you want to see what that looks like, feel free to go check out my season two video. Um, I figured we're going to continue with the story. We're going to stick with this character because I could, if I wanted to, switch over to my new character and continue with the story. But I figure, like, for it making sense, not that it makes much sense anyways, we should stick with the character we've been playing as. Um, Something I just noticed that I have not covered before at all, that I've only just realized. All of your challenges, so i.e. your missions, they are character specific. So you can get more battle pass XP if you have more than one character. You can literally like create the maximum of like five characters, and you can do your dailies like five times. Um, if you want to, of course. You know that is uh, a lot of Babylon's Fall for anybody. But yeah, I just noticed when switching over characters, all of my challenges had reset for this character. So yeah, but progress sticks. So like I am season two total BP is 4450, and that's exactly what it was with my other character. So it's shared, but the challenges aren't shared. So you can just get more and more stuff, which is great. The thing that's not so good that I noticed is all of the orders now. So the ones where it's like yes, slay. Oh, actually, a better one to look at. Collecting screws, for example. So you used to be able to get this by dismantling armor and weapons. You can't do that anymore. You have to actually go into missions and find the items. And for the amount of BP it gives you, it can take a really long time to like find certain things depending on what you're looking for. I mean, I think screws are actually quite easy to get, so that was maybe a bad example. But like, I think it took me quite a while to get ceramic sheets last time I put it on. But you know what? Let's do that. Let's put ceramic sheets and let's put screws on, and let's see if we can get those by the end of the video. So yeah, we're going to carry on with the story. Ba-ba-da-ba. Sorry for that slightly longer intro of doing nothing, but I just figured I would fill you in on the few little bits that I discovered. So, we are now going to the ice fields of Pazur, or Pazar, not too sure. It's an ice field though. So yeah, I mean, season two for the most part has been quite positive in terms of like what they've added. I don't really get why they've upped the power level. Like, it doesn't really make much sense to me, but then it's never made sense to me. Like, I've never understood why they do it in Destiny either. I would rather they just, like, add new bits of gear that have new, interesting passives. Sometimes a chest here. But instead, they're just like, oh no, we'll add arbitrary numbers. So you don't slide anymore when you're on the ice, which is good. It's very good, actually, because I hated that mechanic. It feels weird to go back to a melee character. Like, I will say, like, the balancing between melee and ranged is actually pretty good once you get used to playing as, like, both types. Oh, Jesus. Which I am no longer used to. Okay, we're alright. That wasn't too bad. Nothing up here. Nothing over here. So the other thing that's really cool is if you've got multiple characters, your power level, it actually carries over, by which I mean like your new character will start with power level 0 gear, but you can craft power level like whatever you're at with your highest level character straight away and equip it, which is really nice. So it eliminates the grind for successive created characters, basically, which I think is great. Ow, okay, I was not paying attention to what I was fighting. Ow. No. The CC has only gotten marginally better. Come on, perish, please. I'm gonna turn my game down a little bit once this fight is over, because this is very loud in my ear. This is Apex's fault. I play Apex very loudly, and then as a result, everything else is unbearable. Right, give me 1 second. Just gonna go into my settings and just change my headset volume down a little bit. Hopefully it'll be a little bit nicer now, so I won't feel like I'm shouting. I should have done this in my last video, to be honest with you, because I was shouting basically the whole way through that. But, yeah, it's just me. I like to be difficult towards myself, apparently. So yeah, these are conches. These gold things, they're definitely conches. It's the coins. The coins, I don't know what they are. I have no idea why they exist, and I have no idea what their purpose is. I'm wondering if it's just to make you feel like you're collecting more stuff than you are, maybe. Something I also noticed about the new weapon, the pistols, it doesn't have a power mode. Now I don't know why this is, because like it's not like it would be impossible to give it a power mode, like, you know, just make it fire more like a Magnum as opposed to like dual pistols, and then that's your power mode. I'm wondering if maybe they like just ran out of time and were just like, crap, we need to get the pistols into the game. But I mean, like, you know, they're still very satisfying, the pistols, so I don't have like a major issue. Wow, so these sections are like really easy now that the ice isn't slidey, which is fine. I'm actually very happy with that. I forgot I have that parkour objective. Because crafting is, whoops, horrifically expensive. So anything we can get out of these is necessary. Oh, another chest. The game is treating me. So all the gear will be worthless, but we can break it down. Which again isn't exactly the most. God damn it, I deserve that. Okay. What's in the arena? Is it a bunch of stuff I've fought before? It looks to be. So now, does anyone know why I launched that enemy into the air a moment ago? Because that just happens sometimes, as far as I can tell, and it doesn't really seem to have any, like, relation to what I'm pushing most of the time. Come on, Wolfses. There we go. Okay. Oh, a pure platinum. My button mashing was of a pure platinum standard today. The ranking system hasn't been tweaked at all. It's still an absolute mess. Like, I will have runs through levels where I feel like I'm doing terribly and it will give me a pure platinum. And then other times I will be like absolutely spot on the entire way through, not take any damage, not use any heals, not even get knocked down or anything, like, and then it'll be like, yeah, it's a gold medal. I'm just like, what? Why? Why is it a gold medal? I've also noticed that even though there is a thing displaying what gives you your points to go towards your rating, it's inconsistent between chapters, so there's no actual like value to any of the points. It just like the game just sort of seems to decide what is like what everything is worth each time. It's like sometimes, like, I don't know, perfect evading 10 times will get you like a ton of XP and a ton of like rating, and sometimes it gets you next to nothing. It's really bizarre. So what I've taken away from it is you just sort of button mash until you get ran over by a rolly beetle. And then you hope for the best. You just hope for the best, and the game might give you a good rating at the end of it. So yeah, playing with swords is a lot more taxing on my hands than playing with the guns, because the guns, obviously, I'm like doing like charge shots and things like that quite often, whereas this I am very much button mashing. But it was worth a pure platinum, so... also, my coffin voice is gone as a result of the story, so now I don't get hints with as to where all of the like hidden pockets and things like that are. Yeah, man. Hope you're all getting a very good view of a bunch of up-close textures whilst I'm hammering away at this giant dude with a mallet. Okay, it's the wolf boss, but this time he's golden. How exciting for us. So, I'm not too sure whether Season 2 actually adds any new, like, chapters or anything to the story. We will, of course, find out as we go a bit further. I should lock on. This is one of the few enemies where it really is actually quite beneficial to do so, because he jumps around a lot. Some of the seeking on some of these missiles is absolutely like horrendous. Like they'll turn like 180 degrees to hit you. Okay. So hopefully we maybe got something that we can use out of that. Me no. We probably didn't, because this is quite far beneath our level, so it's a shame, but tis what we got. So as I said in the Season 2 video, we are back to 50 Battle Pass XP for every single completion, which is a lot less rewarding feeling, which is a shame. Oh, okay, we are getting like 170, 172. Interesting. Huh. Maybe they've changed it. Hang on, I need to have a look at the level rating for the stage we just did. Maybe they've changed it so that you can actually get decent gear from whatever you do. That'd be cool if they have. The one annoying thing about having multiple characters is whatever the other character has equipped is also in your other character's inventory, but it's just got an equipped by another sentinel thing on it. So it just uses up space, which is a little bit annoying. Like, I mean, it's not the worst thing, of course, so it's whatever. It's very annoying that I can't do sieges again, because it took me ages to get to the stage where I could do sieges, and then they upped the level cap, and now I can't do them again, because they're, like, above my level cap now. Instead of being, like, 110, they're 210, which is just stupid. So considering these are supposedly story quests, we haven't actually gotten any story from any of it. I mean, I know we're going up a mountain to fight a dragon, but, like, other than that, there's literally no back and forth between the characters, no voice acting, like, there's, like, nothing. And it was quite bare bones to begin with. So that's quite worrying, considering, like, they've said they're scaling, well, they seem to be scaling back development for the game as well. Oh, Jesus, well, maybe I deserve that, who knows. I'm really thrilled to be fighting more of these wolves. Okay, and it was a pure platinum. Even though I think I maybe successfully dodged like one attack in amongst all of that, and the rest of them just like hit me, like square in the face. And it was like, yep, pure platinum. So yeah, these enemies are like the same as the ones we were facing earlier, it's just they're gold now. But at least now we know that gear is actually, like, worthwhile picking up now. Aside from for dismantling. Uh, can you imagine doing this with it being all slidey? You've got to wonder sometimes what these devs were thinking with some of the mechanics they put in the game. Like, just like with how, like, just unfun certain things are/were. And, like, I genuinely do think the devs are passionate about this game from, like, the way that they talk and stuff. I don't think that this is the kind of thing where they're, like, phoning it in. I mean, I feel like they very much did jump on the bandwagon a bit with the whole looter thing. But I don't believe that they, like, you know, like, phoned in development of the game or, like, I don't know, just tried to throw something out. I get the impression that the people that worked on this very much wanted to make something very good. And I hope they do get the chance. I hope they do. Because obviously this ain't it, but I mean, maybe it could be with time. Because, I mean, they've proven that they can make interesting weapons. I think the pistol was a really good addition, and I think the axe was a really good addition. It's just like, it's just kind of what you're doing with it. It's kind of a bit like mundane, I guess. Like, when you get to a good boss fight, it kind of feels a bit better. Especially now that the boss health bars have been shortened a little bit. The boss fights feel actually pretty good, I would go as far as saying. I've been doing the duel against the first dragon that we fight in the story, and like it's so much better now that his health bar's a little bit shorter. Like, the fight actually feels fun again, because I know that when I'm queuing into it, I'm not going to be doing it for like half an hour. You know, it'll take me closer to maybe like 10 minutes, maybe even less, I guess. Haven't actually timed it since they changed things. Yes, pure platinum. So it's 12,000 for a pure platinum, I think. These like hanging spider enemies, they need to be just patched out of the game because they're just terrible. It's like when you're playing with the pistol, the vertical tracking is terrible on them. So like you could be shooting, but all of your bullets will be going like underneath the enemy or above the enemy. It's just like you can't like do vertical combat with the pistols very easily. It's just very annoying. It's, you know, it's better with the sword, which is hilarious because the sword is a close range weapon. And these are like far away enemies. So you would think that, let's go over here. Well, these mines are very slow. Oh god, that's not what I wanted. Do you think that the Galu commanders are all like, yo, you're special, we're giving you gold armor, and they're all like proud of it and stuff, only for me to come along and just cut them down like paper? They're probably like, oh, I just got my big promotion from like silver armor to gold armor, and I'm just like, no. Now you die. Ooh, so it was a pure platinum, which is great. In the words of Tony the Tiger. I really think that they should change it so that you can bring up the power level of your weapons by using different weapon types. So, like, if I wanted to bring up the power level of my pistols, I could do it with a staff or whatever. The reason I say that is because I have, since creating my pistol character, I've had one pistol drop, and I've been playing pretty much all day, well, all afternoon, And yeah, it's really not good. Really, really, really not good. Because I'm at the stage now where like my pistols are really, really weak, and I don't have enough crafting materials to make more. So I'm either going to have to change up what weapon I'm using, or just farm with this character until I have enough materials to craft more to send him, kind of thing. And I mean, like in fairness, it's good that you can do that. Like that is a good thing. Like I like that I can switch from my pistol character onto this sword character, and then share all of my resources across them all. Um, what am I doing? So yeah, it will say order complete ceramic sheets for all that dismantling there. But if we go into the progress menu, it's going to have completed now. Just to like rub my face in it, isn't it? No, yeah. So ceramic sheets, we have 2 out of 5. We don't have 5 out of 5. Whereas the game just told us we had 5 out of 5. So where they've like patched it to make it more grindy, they haven't actually patched the notifications to match it, which is a little bit ridiculous. Like, I've noticed like it seems to decrease the amount of damage that enemies do to you when you're in like a lower mission level, but in terms of the damage you deal to enemies, it's pretty like much the same. There might be like a slight difference, but it seems as though everything scales to you mostly. But if the gear scales as well, then I have no issue with it. Ghouls. Ba, 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 ba. So this is one thing that I kind of wish they would lean into, like actually have like themed levels and areas. So like, you could have a whole level and it's like filled with zombies and stuff like that. That would be like, really cool. But they seem to sort of just mishmash enemies together like all the time. Doesn't really have much of a sense of cohesion. It's just kind of like, oh, we're going to throw this enemy at you and this enemy. Although, with me saying that, thus far, it's only been zombies. I'm sorry, ghouls. But yeah. I'm going to try and make it a little bit more interesting. I'll do some different combos. Was that interesting? Did you all enjoy that? I did an aerial attack, and I did a triangle attack. Instead of just mashing square in the triggers. Is it this way? Oh, so it's all zombies. I literally just said, like, literally exactly what I said. So I guess my words are eaten at this point. I guess thinking about it, like, the story quests aren't so bad for, like, having, like, themes. It's that, why do you teleport? Maybe it's more like the skirmishes that are a bit like that. Where they're a bit mishmash. Which would make sense, I guess. They kind of want to, like, mix up all of the enemy arrangements to make it challenging. See, I guess one problem with it being just zombies is that you are literally just fighting, like, one enemy type over and over again. We got coins. Wow. If anyone knows what the coins do, please do comment. I would love to know, because these things are the conches, which are like your main currency. So, what do coins do? I can't remember if I told you guys. I found whilst I was playing on my own. There's like a sword. As a matter of fact, it's the sword I'm holding at the moment. If you put it on your L2 and R2, it does the long range sword slice instead of the the swipe. It does like the one where you like aim, which I thought was pretty cool. Like it's like nice that you have that option, so you can like differentiate your sword build a little bit. Whether it's particularly effective or not is another matter. I didn't really find it that effective, but I'm sure there are some people out there that have, well, if there are enough people playing to even make a case for it. I'm sure there are some people out there who would be brilliant at it, but fortunately, brute force is the way. That was a pure platinum. Well, that disappeared really quickly. How did I get that to disappear so quickly? Have they added it in so that you can do it with a button press now? We'll test out our buttons whenever we next get a quest clear screen. So yeah, the actual environment is just sort of reused, which isn't great. I would like to have seen more visual variety, considering we're supposedly still in the story at the moment. But I mean, I've been to this arena like a million times. Oh, have I? Oh my gosh, story! It's all coming full circle. Oh, we don't have voice acting though. Oh no. Here we go. What happened here?
Look at these scorch marks. Viking.
Okay, dragon is up.
We were too late.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'll say you were.
Gallagher?
Okay.
Been a while, huh?
So he's
You look
fine.
Come on now.
Natural reaction.
What was that for your old squad mate?
It's like, hey!
Gallagher, we saw you go Ixion. How did you...
I'm a little bit annoyed because I don't like her and I also don't like him. So I have absolutely no idea why they're back in
You big softy.
the center of the
Make
plot
me
again.
cry. But you're right. Oh God.
Oh my god, that facial expression. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, we all went Ixion for a second, didn't we?
Recognize you under all that muscle.
When we were fighting the final boss. Or before we fought the final boss? I can't remember. But we managed to come back, so it makes sense that he would be able to as well.
It's you who set that dragon on my goat nights, is it?
Can't you see you're interrupting our reunion here?
Oh wait, so he's still evil? Look, all these created characters.
Pardon? Sorry to interrupt the fun, General, but it looks like it's about time.
Yes, I'll keep these sentinels entertained.
She's literally like wearing a normal dress and like a big medieval helmet.
Take care of them.
It's like high fashion.
Goodbye, my friends. Maybe we'll meet again. If you survive.
Gallagher, wait!
Yeah, Gallagher. So what, we're fighting her?
It's my turn to play. You may call me Zog, the freezing ring.
Zog. So we're fighting dress and hat lady.
Be gentle.
Oh, what? Okay, hang on. This is like a...
Freeze to your core.
It's like a Sentinel versus Sentinel fight. She's not doing very well. I am taking care, you're nearly dead. Oh, wait, she's doing something. No? Oh god, okay, I was playing around with the lock-on. Which was a mistake. I have no dodge juice. Oh wait, is it something to do with the floor? Do I have to stand on here? I think I have to stand on this, like, patch of, like, frozen ice. Rather than the dark ice. Because all of my, spirit gauge went down. Well, we've nearly got her. If it was, like, a little bit harder, that would have been a really cool fight. But I think, because we're, like... I'm assuming it must be because we're over-leveled. Or because our build has, like, finally taken off, even though I don't really have much of a build. So one would assume that would be a boss battle that we can repeat, because I think most of them are. Like as a duel, I mean, like at a higher level. What did we get? Did we get anything good? Some stuff that's a little bit higher, I think. So that's good. Okay, well she's not defeated then.
You're a feisty bunch, aren't you?
What is she? How can she still be standing after that?
I did hit her with the sword like 200 times.
Gallagher?
Oh, what's the matter? Jealous?
Why?
Would have been cool if we had to fight her with Sylvie, like backing us up. We are the creatures, that's what they call themselves. The creatures.
Free of the yoke of sentinelhood and the grip of the Energeia. As for what we're doing with the General, you're Gallagher. Call us his guard detail.
Hey, if you're his guards, then...
So I guess after you
We only want to talk.
go Ixion, I guess once you break free again, you're no longer under the control of
You do seem like you wish him no
the
harm.
main bunch of people. I can't remember what their names are. Are they actually the Sentinels, I guess?
All right. Come to the unclean sector in the Civic Cloister. But don't come expecting to walk back out again.
Damn!
Okay.
She got away!
When you say got away, she sort of slowly walked away. And if they all had been fighting with me, we probably could have captured her. Just saying.
Thank the gods.
I mean, it makes sense playing this sword character for the story, because they always seem to give your character a sword in all the cutscenes. So, and now we're all the way back at the bottom of the tower again. Okay. Oh, no voice acting now. Hoo 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 hoo. Well, it's a place wrapped in constant fog, and the buildings look to be floating on air. It's actually far more beautiful than what I'm sure you were expecting. Well, I was expecting a garbage dump. I suppose we'll have to take in the view then. Did you hear that, Scarecrow? Can you believe her? I heard, Garter. I suppose she hasn't grasped what manner of fog it is. Care to enlighten me? The fog's highly contaminated. It's bearable for a few minutes, for most, and then goodbye. You could have just said yes then. Who, it's in the name, isn't it? Why does he say who all the time? We can't let a little fog scare us away from stopping the creatures. I thought I said shopping with the creatures for a second. With the dragon on their side, they could burn the Civic Cloister and Kumar to ash. Bearable for a few minutes, you say? For most, yes, for most. I think I see where this is going. You think Sentinels might be able to handle it? That's us. We are they. We can regenerate, so yep. We can't stay in there for long though, but perhaps long enough. Are you okay with this, Sylvie? Contamination aside, it's still likely an ambush. What say you, Ewan? I don't have a choice. It is all I am capable of doing. Alright then, we'd better get moving. Unless there are any other ideas. Sorry, best of luck. Okay. I mean, it's just going to be me anyways. I mean, Sylvie will show up for all the cutscenes, but in terms of the actual fighting, I'm going to be the only one doing anything. Okay. Oh, I'm standing inside someone. Sucks when that happens. Oh, orders. Do we do any orders? That could send me over the edge. Could get me into Reward Town. Nope. See, like, I've had these for friggin' ages, and I've just not even come across the enemies. Combat Medic, which is hilarious, because I'd need to play with people in order to get that. Willy Boy! Willy Boy 78! Of course. Okay. So yeah, maybe I'll do a bunch of editing instead of doing loads of episodes, but we'll see. We'll see. I've really not been feeling editing recently, as you've probably noticed with a lot of my uploads. But yeah. So I'm not thinking so much of like the non-boss battle stages. Like the one that we did at the end of the last episode, or if it was the last episode, was like okay because it had a unique fight at the end, but the rest of them were kind of like done it before kind of thing. Okay, so there's like patches of miasma is how it's gonna work. I'm guessing you just take damage once it gets to a certain point. Oh my god, it's Iggy enemies. Well worth mentioning that this is just a reskin of the very first tile set. I really hate all of the status effects. I know I've said it a million times, but I genuinely wish that they would get rid of half of them. I think we're good. Not seen too much miasma so far, which is good, because it looks like it might be annoying. We probably should see what happens when the miasma gets high, but I am a little bit nervous of doing that, because I don't want to have to, like, start the mission again or anything. Nor do I want to risk my pure platinum. So this is the other bad thing about the dual pistols, they don't have a move that can break the guard really easily, or as far as I can tell they don't. Archers, is it? It's a good thing they don't know how to aim. Well, that one's gonna hit me. I feel like if he had have missed that shot, it would have been a bit embarrassing though. Although, to be fair, that is the kind of thing that I would do in Apex. Well. Oh god, we're still in the... Ow. Oh, it's just like a single damage tick. I mean, that's not exactly the end of the world to get hit with like a bit of miasma. And now for whatever boss we're up against. It is another one of these guys, but he's got friends. He's accompanied by Smal and Smal. Gah! There we go. Woo! Hey, we did cotton cloth. I was talking out of my butt. I think it's because I'm tired. Okay, mines and miasma. This is too much, man. It's too much. Oh, don't push me back in. Okay, what are we up against? Oh my god, it's a ton of wolves. You know, I complain about the lock-on quite a lot in this game. Apparently they have added some more options for it, so I am going to actually check those out at some point. Yeah, no, I'm going to have to edit some of this together. Like, for sure, because there's just, like, there's no story here. Yeah. I'm just sort of button mashing my way through the same enemies over and over again. Why have I jumped over here? Is there a reason I've jumped over here? No one knows. It's like there isn't really any reason to stay in the miasma as well. It's literally just like sprint through it. So I don't really know what the mechanic is there. Unless they start introducing like patches of it around the arena or something. That could be a bit annoying. Ah, I was ready for you. Like, I will say, like, it's probably not all that fun to watch. But there is a certain amount of, like, I don't know what the word is. Like, it doesn't feel terrible when you're just sort of, like, brainlessly destroying stuff in this game. Like, stuff really does, like, explode into, like, a shower of goodies, which is, like, a nice feeling, I guess. I hate CC in this game so much. There we go. We killed the doll wolf. This is draining me a little bit tonight. Ah. It's okay. We can make it through. By we, I mean me. I still need to finish Elden Ring as well. I feel like I'm still going to be saying that, like, next year. I feel like my brain is just too mush at the moment to go back to Elden Ring, which is a little bit annoying. But I'll get there eventually. I'll get there eventually. Oh, it's still saying that we've done the ceramic sheets. Have we done the ceramic sheets? I feel like we haven't. Nope. Have we done any of these? Nearly got the screws. Do you see what I mean, though? We've done, like, what, 4 or 5 missions? And we've not gotten any closer. Uh-oh. Unable to send data. It won't even let me quit. Oh wait. We're good? Do we think we're good? It seems like we're good. So that was pretty random. Oh, I am dodging. That's weird. Maybe it's because it's unable to send data. Like, what was the point in that miasma? Do you know what I mean? It's really weird. It's like a non-mechanic. Come on. There we go. Oi, oi, oi. Still gave me a plat.
Is it just me, or does this place seem familiar somehow?
It's probably a reused asset.
I knew it! Between the fog and coming in from the other direction. I didn't notice at first. This is the old Senate Hall where we fought Xenon.
Oh, there we go.
Which
Yeah, there he
means
is. He dead. I feel like the big dead
Which
Xenon was the
means it's where
giveaway.
Gallagher went Ixion, yeah? Bravo!
That sounds like Gallagher.
Gallagher!
Is he the boss?
So you showed up. Glad you got my invitation.
What's going on, Gallagher?
Looks like most of the cast is here. Too bad you didn't bring that mad woman with you.
He does a lot of dramatic
What?
jumping.
Like they say, the show must go on.
Is he gonna like
Hope you allow me
reanimate
to
Xenon?
explain. Back then, I was lost, confused. Join me, and
Okay.
Then we'll send to Elysium, and give. Then the ziggurat will belong to us creatures, the true heirs of Babylonia.
I'm sorry, Gallagher. It looks like we really did lose you after all.
Think what you will.
General, you still bear the after effects of Ixionization. Please, allow me.
All yours, Elpis.
Oedipus.
Just don't go shifting on me now.
Certainly not.
Does she have a unique weapon? Looks like a both.
Like the present, eh?
Oh, it's both of them. Oh, she's like a mage, I think. I'm fighting both of them, that's good. I mean, I'm assuming that we're meant to be going for her. Right? I mean, she's not having a good time. Oh, I have nothing.
Let me send a shot
I am struggling here because every time I get her down, I also get knocked down. In terms of like visual effects, this is very cool. Come on. She's nearly dead. Okay, we got her. Now we just need to get him.
Good, there is that.
Wait, what? Does he revive her? I really hope he doesn't. She did give me loot, so I'm really not trying to evade right now. I probably should be. Oh man. There we go. It was just chapter 1 though. Oh, okay, no, it is ending. Oh, look at that hat. Look at that hat. Whew. It looks like I have like a monk cut. Where I'm like bald on the top. And then like... Very interesting design. Right. Oh, Elipis. We barely even got to know you. Quiet now, you've done me proud. Hey, thank you, General. And you, not bad at all. Looks like I'm not the only one with experience cheating death. Gallagher, come on. We'll forget all about whatever this was. Just give yourself up. Here, good one, Sylvie. Give myself up and let the damned Imperial... Okay, it's gone now. She Sophia's changed. Gallagher, you'd hardly recognize her. How that makes two of us then. So I'm not reading this with much enthusiasm right now. Either way, I'm not about to go climbing back into that cage. Stop, Gallagher. I like this tail had physics. Look at it. It like just drops. The dragon. Sylvie, Hal, this is goodbye. Alrighty. So we're just going to take his lieutenants down one by one, I would assume, and then we'll have to face him, possibly with the dragon, I guess.
Don't see many Sentinel ships coming to dock these days.
Didn't you hear? The only new Sentinels nowadays are volunteers, by Lady Sophia's decree.
Suppose that explains the shortage. Not too many eager to take on that job.
So they've dropped the prisoner storyline altogether then. Which I guess makes sense.
Look.
After everything we've done.
Molzamites. Here.
Ah! A whole bloody lot of them too!
Ah!
Let's get out of here. Who knows what they're after? Damn. Molzamites. Here on New Babylonian soil.
I mean, they do look pretty savage.
Not much of a welcome party, is it?
Oh, he doesn't sound too bad, though. I was expecting him to have, like, an evil
Don't
voice.
take it personally. Neo-Babylonians don't have much contact with the people of Molzam.
Wow. So that's it then. Quite a sight. Bigger than the Tower of Calibangan.
Intimidated? Urom again?
What is his forehead tattoo? It's got like a graph on his... Oh my god, that's so funny.
So, we're ready to disembark.
He keeps track of all of his stocks on his forehead. Oh, we're doing bad this month. Downward arrow.
Alright, you bastards. Spears at the ready. It's time we set foot on land.
Now that is quite clearly not a spear.
Foray!
Foray! Foray!
Yeah, it's less of a spear and more of an axe. So I guess this story got added with the first new class, first new character type that they added, and the axe and stuff like that. Okay. Okay. So we need to go to the heart of the ziggurat, basically. So... Okay, so we need to not destroy it, but, like, control it. Okay, so we're going to like a fiery region next. Lots of Galu. So it's going to be fighting more of the same enemies, one would assume. Right, okay, so we're going to be doing all the fighting as always, and they are going to be trying to get to the heart, I guess. Okay. I'm going to say that's probably it for my play session today, because I am starting to feel the sort of the tedium a little bit. I've played for a little bit too long, I think. But yeah, it's been fine. It's been fine. This part of the story is definitely weaker. I think I prefer facing like big boss monsters rather than like human enemies. Just because mechanically, like they feel a little bit more actually thought out, I guess. Whereas like the human enemies can be a little bit more difficult to predict when they're going to strike and stuff. Like I still think the dragon boss fight has like been the best boss fight so far. Just because there's like loads of telegraphs for that fight, and it was just felt fun to sort of be maneuvering around the arena. And now that its health bar's been reduced, it's like an even better fight as well. So, yeah, yeah, that's where we're at. So, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Farewell.